Now we're going to start to look at part 10, reviewing for part 10 of your test. All right, so all these questions are from part 10. Now these are mixed problems. Some of these are rate equations. Some of these are ones where you just add, subtract. So let's look at A. Okay, if there are 5 carrots for every 4 pounds of sausage, how many pounds of sausage are there for 8 carrots? So when I see the words for every, that tells me that this is a rate equation. Now my 2 units are carrots and sausage. Okay, and the question asks how many pounds of sausage are there. So I know I'm going to have S equals, because this is a rate equation, whatever is in the answer is on top. My carrots are in the bottom, and carrots is what I'm going to multiply by. Now I need to find my relationship, and it tells me there's 5 carrots for every 4 pounds of sausage. So 5 carrots, that has to go in the bottom, because C is in the bottom. And the 4 for sausage goes on top, because sausage is on top. And it asks about 8 carrots. So we put the 8 there for carrots. Now all I need to do is go ahead and multiply 4/5 times 8. And that comes out to about 6.4. So we would have 6.4 pounds of sausage. All right, let's take a look at B. B says Robert's store has 16 pounds of sausage. Robert's store has 26 fewer pounds of sausage than Julio's store. How much sausage does Julio have in his store? So I know this is not a rate equation because there's no for every, there's no per, there's no ratio, no rate. Okay, so I'm just going to go ahead and write my equation here. My equation comes from this sentence right here. Robert's store has 26 fewer pounds of sausage than Julio's. So Robert's store has is going to be R equals 26 fewer means we are going to subtract 26, and we're subtracting the 26 from Julio's store. Now I just need to fill in the information I'm given. It tells me that Robert's store has 16 pounds. So I put the 16 in for Robert. Write my equation. Now to solve for Julio's store, I just need to add the 26 to both sides. 16 and 26 is 42. So 42 equals J. That tells me that Julio has 42 pounds of sausage. All right, so what you should do is go ahead and work C through E. Pause the video and do that. When you're done with C through E, go ahead and continue the video, and we'll do some more reviewing of part 10. All right, so some more practice with part 10. Again, these questions are going to be on part 10 of your test. Questions like these. So let's look at A. It says the dog is 4/9 as heavy as the goat. The dog weighs 36 pounds. What is the weight of the goat? Okay, I know this is not a rate problem because, again, there's no for every, there's no per, there's no ratio, rate, any of those words that we look for those. So I'm just going to write my equation. And my equation comes from this first sentence. The dog is 4/9 as heavy as the goat. So that's D equals 4/9 as heavy as, there's your as's, that means you're going to multiply, and we're multiplying by the goat. Okay, then fill in what it gives you. It says the dog weighs 36 pounds. So we put the 36 in for the dog. Equals 4/9 G. And then to solve this equation, we need to multiply by the reciprocal. So over here, your 9s and your 4s will cancel. You're left with the G. 9/4 times 36 is 81. So the goat weighs 81 pounds. All right, let's take a look at B. Okay, for B, the train averages 60 miles an hour. How far would the train travel in 1.5 hours? Okay, so 60 miles an hour, another way to say that is 60 miles per hour. So that tells me that this is a rate equation. So my two units are miles and hours. And the one that answers the question, how far would the train travel, we would answer that in miles. So I'm going to have miles equals. If miles is in my answer, miles is on top. Hours is in the bottom. And hours is what we will multiply by. Okay, so I need to get my relationship in the fraction there. It's 60 miles an hour. So 60 miles, miles is on top. So we put the 60 on top. 60 miles an hour or 60 miles per hour means 1 hour. Okay, and then it's asking for 1.5 hours. So then you just need to take the 60 over 1 times 1.5 to get your solution here, which is 90. So it's going to travel 90 miles in that hour and a half. Okay, you can pause the video, work on problems C and D. When you're done with those, again, resume it, and we will look at reviewing part 11. All right, so we have part 11 here, and we're going to be solving some equations. Again, this is part 11 on your test. So let's take a look at A here. I've got 7 minus 5b plus 6 equals 3b plus 5b. So that's what I start with. Now what I'm going to do is I'm always going to find my equal sign and separate the sides of my equation. And then I'm going to start on the left side and work my way from left to right. So I have a 7. And I look to see if there's anything I can combine with that 7. And there is. We have the 6. So 7 plus 6 gives me 13. So I've used those. And then I still have the minus 5b here. And that's all the simplifying I can do on that side. On the right side, I have 3b plus 5b. 3b plus 5b is 8b. Now the next thing I need to do is make sure I get all of my letter terms on one side and all of my just number terms on the other. So I need to take this minus 5b and add it to both sides so that I get all my b's on one side. So we have 13 equals 13b. Now all I have left to do to solve for b is to divide by 13. And I get 1 equals b. And we are done with that one. Okay, now let's take a look at b. So we have 4m minus 3 minus 3m equals 14 minus 9. Again, find your equal sign, draw a line down to separate one side from the other. Work your way from left to right. On the left side, I have 4m and I have minus 3m. Well, 4m minus 3m is 1m. Okay, I've used those. All I have left is the minus 3. Over on the right side, 14 minus 9, that's 5. So I write the 5. Now all I have left to do to solve this equation is add the 3, and I get m equals 8. Okay, so you can pause the video there, work on C and D on your own. When you're done with those, again, resume the video, and we will look at reviewing part 12. All right, so this is part 12 on your test. This is what the problems on here are going to look like. So if we look at A, 7 to the third, what I'm doing here is showing the multiplication and then what it equals. So 7 to the third is going to be 7 times 7 times 7. And if I take 7 times 7 times 7, I will get 343. If I look at B, 2 to the fourth, that means I'm going to do 2 times 2 times 2 times 2. Okay, and if I do that, I will end up with an answer of 16. Okay, that's all that's to those. You can go ahead and finish C, D, and E on your own. Pause the video to do that. When you're done, go ahead and resume the video, and we will review the last part of the test, part 13. All right, part 13, the circumference or the diameter of each circle. So remember the equation that we use for circumference is C equals pi times diameter. So you always start with that. So if we look at A, they give us the circumference. So we put the 11 in for circumference. So I have 11 equals pi times d. Now all I need to do to solve for the diameter here is divide by pi. Now when I take 11 divided by pi, I'm going to get about 3.50. Okay, and my units here are meters. Okay, that's what is going to equal my diameter. Okay, for B, again we start with the equation C equals pi times diameter. In this one now, the 4.5, they give you the diameter, so I put that 4.5 in for D. And all we have to do is take pi times 4.5. We get C equals about 14.14 yards. Okay, you can go ahead and finish C, D, and E on your own. And this is the last part of your review.